Okay, hello dear friends. We are starting with our General Assembly of the Taxpayers Association of Europe. We are this time when we make the assembly is not so easy. We had the Corona problem behind us. We have the actual problem of the war in the Ukraine. All of us, we are happy that you are with us, and all our member countries are behind the Ukraine. We hope that this war will end very soon, but till it is ending, we stand behind you. You must know it. That's very important for us all. But it's also hard for our organization in such times to make our normal work, but it must be done. And so you got the invitation for today with the agenda. My first question is there anybody okay with the agenda? Are there some contributions or not? Please tell it now. So the agenda is okay. We can start. Perhaps some remarks for the today's meeting. You know, we are working for many years with the Taxpayers Association of Europe. I was not the founder, but it was already founded when I started. But we built it up for many years, and with good relationships to different countries. They were changing. I think, for example, France, we had a good partner in France. Now it's a little more difficult with the French organization, but it's important that we have them in our family. So it's much work to be done in this European association. What's very interesting is that our Eastern partners in the Eastern part are quite active, and we try to activate them more, to have more feeling for that what is happening in Europe. We have many internal problems in Europe. We have a bad economy at the time, leaving companies out of Europe because Europe is too bureaucratic. Europe is too expensive with many things, and so our companies in which are the members of our organizations, they are in a quite, I tell it from my German view, they're in a quite bad view. 1/4 of the medium enterprises in Germany are thinking about finishing their companies. And we are looking in the future, which will not be easy. I made the job as the president of the Taxpayers Association for a long time, and I had very much fun. And we had a good friendship all together. We had very interesting meetings. We had also meetings where we didn't talk about working. We talked about life, about living, and being friends, and it was a beautiful time. But all good things have to find a good end, and I decided now to finish my work as the president of this organization. I had a very good secretary general with Michael Jäger, who was coming from the university and entered in our organizations, and he knows everybody most times better than me. And so I thought that it would be a good time to change the president of the European Taxpayers Association. And I will afterwards, if we come to the agenda, I will propose him as my follower. We had with Horst Heitz. We had a very good friend who was running our office in Brussels by the group. He died. He was working hard for us. He was a good friend, and we regret so much that he had to die so early. But we found a guy who was already working together with us since many years in other organizations where we were partners and working together. Now he agreed to make the Secretary General of our organization. He will tell you what his job was afterwards when we have the elections. But he's very introduced in Brussels in all the politics and all the organizations, and so we would have, if you agree to this, afterwards in the elections, we will have a new president, we will have a new Secretary General, and we have some former guys in our media construction with Rudi Meyer and Ralf Schneider, who are working together with the new organization. And I will stay as an honorary president if I'm elected as honorary president. I will help them as much as I can, and I will be there till the end of my life for the Taxpayers Association of Europe, because that's one part of my life. So that's my introduction in the assembly today. And we come to the second point. The agenda was already accepted. We come to the report of the board and the auditors' activities, and this will our future president and actual Secretary General, he will make it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Horst. The most important thing, what we see is that we have now a very good infrastructure starting, Gregor, with our new office. It's in opposite to the European Parliament. Everything was under construction. Now we start, and we have a new address, and everything will be changed and registered in Brussels. What is really important also for us to be visible. And if I see our friends from UK, it's good to have some people joining us in presence, but it's also important to have friends digitally participating. And I think our network of the taxpayers must be unified, independent of the borders of the European Union, because we have all the same problems. And I'm happy that UK is forcing us with maybe tax competition. So please lower your taxes and put pressure on us, because we have all to fight for market-oriented solutions. And I think what is going on in Brussels, it's increasing of debts, increasing of regulation, increasing of debts, and also taxes. What is the wrong approach? Horst Heitz, we know us since years, and he was the Deputy Secretary General. And he has a very good network. You can tell what you do later, maybe personally. And I think it's good for us to increase our network, to cooperate, to deepen our cooperation, and then also to be more visible. So that's why we proposed in one of our last mails to our members that we founded some committees on different affairs. But it's really important that we do not open the floor to other people to speak in our name. So we are the voice of taxpayers. We are the voice of entrepreneurs, small, medium, biggers, all OPCs and self-employed. Otherwise, some other will take action, like the Green Movement, and I think it's not always the right solution. We all want to fight the climate change, but by market-oriented solutions. Otherwise, nobody will use it. If we use it in Europe, and nobody in China or in Brazil or in Africa or in the US, there will be no success for it. So that's why we will work hard with this committee. First, maybe you tell something about it. I think it's a very good idea, and everybody's invited. And I think that's the right step in the right direction. Now we have our new own office. And we have next year European elections, and we should really milestones for the election. We should ask politicians if they follow our positions or not. So for UK, for sure, it's not necessary, but for us, we should do it, and we should support those politicians who are in favor of our topics, and we should not vote for them, those who are fighting our taxpayers. And Horst, the floor is yours.
Thank you much, Michael, and thank you also for the introduction. First, welcome to our new office. It is still not completely functional because we will have here a media center, but this will be implemented in September. You have to know in July, construction, everything in Brussels is not active. So, but we had, I think it was already, in fact, functional, so we could work from the beginning, but it was still something to do. And after this, we have a little bit this, how to implement this here. But in the future, we will have here something that is full operational, and this is now a little bit to help us out in provision. To my person, I'm since 15 years here, and I'm representing SMEs interests for several organizations. One of this is SME Europe. This is the business organization of the European People's Party. But I'm also representing SME Connect. This is the largest umbrella organization for SME organizations, where also the taxpayers are members. We're representing nearly 4 million of SMEs and businesses. And our duty is, or our mission is, to give SMEs a voice. So it's not hierarchical. It's not a classical association. It's really to be active. We have over the year over 30 activities in the parliament, in the national capitals, and taxpayers are always related to these topics, because meanwhile 80% of legislation is always substituted by taxpayers, or means a cut of revenues. And I think it's really something what we go in the wrong direction in Europe is that we think we can solve all problems with substitutions and with finance. If he's discussing SMEs problems, it's the first thing SME needs finance. This is true, but in fact, they're suffering, they have to high taxes, they have too much burdens. And then to support them in the beginning, this is another question. But we have really, we go in the wrong direction. What I can offer to you is really a network in the community of business, but also to think tanks here on the European level. But we are also active in the moment, and we built this up with the taxpayers to United States, to China, that we see that we have also to face that there is a competition how to regulate taxation on a global level. And I think here in Brussels, the discussion starts often, and you are here directly very important to be active. And I think now we will have a little bit of change. Before Walter Krupp was excellent in the content work. And now because time changing, we go in the public relation part to say what Michael Jäger said, to be really campaigners, not only who are writing always the comments to all these regulations, because we have to say facts are not always matter anymore, because facts is nice, but we have political groups who are ignoring this, and this means we have really to make the taxpayers visible. And I have to say, this is a huge chance, because we are one of the few NGOs who supporting business, who are aware of this. This all is running only because taxpayers earning money and can pay taxes. And we are not Greenpeace, we are not human rights and so on. They are all important, but it's really a few of NGOs who say, yes, we are also in favor of the civil society, but we have a different approach. We want also the best, but we want that it's also sustainable in a financial and economical way, because if the society wants to reach this topic, we cannot fail as a business community.
Okay, thank you very much for this introduction. Now we come to the third approval of the board acts.
So report. We have the report of the treasurer.
The next
So we
the report of the treasurer.
Yes. Alfred Gerauer.
Aber jetzt mach mal mach bitte das Budget ein.
Our treasurer, Afrigera, is still in the hospital today. We cannot give personally the report. It will be shared, Kigol, very soon, but it's not a big budget. I just want to tell you, according to our accounts of the months what was booked, we were starting the year 2000, we're talking about the year 2022. So we had an entry value from 23,537 euro. That was our starting amount of the budget. Thanks to COVID, we had no events. We have some fixed costs, for sure. Our office and public relation see things, Elliot, so that's quite normal. But we had no further events, no receptions, no conferences, nothing. Okay. So we had membership contribution in 2022, 29,453. We have to say we lost one big member, that was France. France is nicer active on the world level solely, and also not active on the European level. And I welcome I forgot to welcome Elliot Keck from Taxpayers Alliance and Julia Berg sitting next to me from the German Taxpayers Association. And we invited them several times. We had a meeting of the World Taxpayers Association in Prague, but they even didn't join. So even if they are not a member contributing with fees, normally we should always cooperate because it's our common sense to work together. But sorry, they even didn't respond. Our former contact person, Benoit Taffin, she left the association. She's living in Costa Rica. And since then, we had, I think, 3 or 4 new CEOs of the French association. So Rolf and we decided to contact them. Maybe Julia is also able, or our friend and member Rainer Holznagel, to go there and to have a personal discussion, because it's necessary to keep our network very strong. But sorry, they didn't react and didn't even respond. The rent of our office in Brussels was very cheap. It's around 10,620 euro. It's nothing because we do not pay the work of Horst, also the work of Rolf and mine and Rudi and Ralf. Nothing is paid. Everything is volunteer. Otherwise, we could not do this work. Also, our support from the German association, besides the membership fee, we do everything as a volunteer work for our European network. Bank fees was 505 euros. I do not mention the cent amount. Fees and contribution, 949. We have support and to pay for some other memberships. If we do something, further costs 373 euro. Catering costs. This means if we have some invitations, some dinners, it's 2,826 euro. Traveling costs to Brussels and to other events, or if someone was invited to join us, 3,975. Press conferences, public relation, internet. So we have to pay for sure for our email system and on our webpage. It's 2,619 euro. And conference fee, that means for our work conference, when we have sent a member of the European Taxpayers Association, was 800 euro. In total, we had expenditures in the year 2022 in the amount of 22,669. By earnings, revenues 290,453. What means in total a surplus around 6,700 euros. So at the end of 2022, on the bank account, we had 30,279 euros. It's not much, but it's a small increase, which will help us to continue our work. In the bank accounts of last week, 6th of July, that's the last bank account balance I could get, was 35,000. So it's a little bit more. So we really try to save the money. We do not spend too much. Now you see it. It's visible. Thank you very much. So if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I can tell you that Larissa Apasova, our auditor, she proved the accounts on 7th of July yesterday without any objections. So it's not a big amount, and our bookkeeper, she's very serious. So I think everything should be fine. So that's the result.
Okay, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael, for the report. Are there any questions about the money, about the activities, which Michael told you?
It's not the case.
No questions. Okay.
No.
Then I ask you if you agree to our budget and to our work. Then if there's any question, if there are any discussions, please make it now. Nothing. Oh, thank you very much. So we tried to do our best with a low budget. And if you have such a low budget, you must know that everybody of us, he makes his work without payment. We make it just for we are interested. We are loving this organization and working for it. We are convinced that it must be, and everybody who is working together with us, he makes it without much compensation. And I think I must say thank you very much in your name for this work which is done now, because the Taxpayers Association of Europe, it's really well known in Brussels. Politicians fear us if we are fighting things, and politicians know that they have to talk with us if they make new proposals for taxes and things like this. And that's much work, but the work is done 90% for free from the people who are involved. So thank you very much, Michael. Could you tell it to all the others?
Yes.
that the organization knows that there's much interest in the work. Approval of the board's acts. Yes, I'm coming now.
Yes.
Okay. Approval of the board's acts. Can I ask you if you agreed to all the board's acts which we were presenting you now? Is there any question? Is there any? No, nothing. No, that's fine.
No.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's very good. So we can come to the next point, number 5 of the membership fee. So the budget. Yeah, the new budget. Yeah.
I can explain it to you.
That's very important.
Yes.
We have to make the new budget.
Yes, it's very simple. It's the invitation, the agenda fits to the Belgian law and to our statutes. Don't fear, there are no changes of a membership fee and the way how we finance our budget, but it should be mentioned, and our proposal is that that there's no change of the financing of the budget. So if you agree, give us a sign. If you disagree, if you increase or double the membership fee, can tell us. But I think that's not the case. So
give us a sign if you don't agree.
Okay, so
is there anybody? No, thank you. Then it's
done.
So we can come to the 5th point of the agenda of the elections of the board and officials.
Yes,
I told you already when I at the beginning that we will have a changement. The changement will be that the president changes from me to Michael Jäger. The general secretary changes from Michael Jäger to Horst Heitz, and the other officials, they are still staying as it was before. But let's start. Okay. Let's start with the first point. No, first you can do nothing because you are. You need 5 minutes to be the president. Then
no, at least I'll have 1 minute.
Yeah, but I propose. I propose now the changement of the president. Do you agree that Michael Jäger takes over the position of the president? If there is no comment, I think it's well done now. Michael, I can ask you if you agree to be the president.
Thank you. No changes. Thank you
of
very much.
Europe in future.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
No change of the, not less work, but more motivation. Thank you.
So now, I look there to the photograph. So now, my dear, I'm only afterwards perhaps the honorary president.
Yeah.
Now you take over.
So, thank you very much. But that was, I wanted to make it en bloc, Christian, to make it very clean. I just want to read, and it's also important. Deputy President John O'Connell, I think there's no change. John should stay. We had the Vice President. Following Vice Presidents were elected.
Come here from that they can see you.
Unfortunately, I'm not John.
But for
Elliot, come on, come closer.
Come here. Everybody sees that there are also some members here. Come here.
So you have to talk. Say some things and you'll be visible. Elliot.
Hi, my name is Elliot Kack. I'm the head of campaigns for Taxpayers Alliance. Licensed to be here.
And he will give later a report on
that.
Yes, good job.
Hi, I'm Julia. I'm from the German Taxpayers.
Ralph.
I am the coordinator of Eastern Europe in the Taxpayers of Europe and the president of the European Journalists.
Uli, come here.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm happy to this election.
Okay. So
Fine.
let us continue. So we have as vice presidents. So that's very simple. Next time we have better technical situation, but it's not a problem. We had Eudes Beaufreton from France, and Eudes left, and we had three followers, but no one was reacting. We have Christian Ekstrom, who is digital present. We have still Rainer Holzhagel, a proxy, Julia Berg, Grigol, who is with us, and Dr. Timo Lehtinen. These are the vice presidents. There are no changes from our side, and our proposal is, besides France, who are no longer member, finally they are observer, who are deleted. If they would say they come back, we can elect someone as a representative that we elect as vice presidents: Christian Ekström, Rainer Holznagel, Grigol Katamadze, and Dr. Timo Lehtinen. So do you agree, Oliver? Do you all agree? Yes, give us a sign, a positive sign. Thank you. It's an anonymous decision.
Thank you very much.
Oh, and everybody said that he wants to continue this volunteer work. That's for sure. Treasurer Alfred Guerra, who is sorry in the hospital, he said that he would continue. And I would say let's combine it with the other officials. As auditor, Larissa Apostolova, Nikolai Popov from Bulgaria. Larissa is from Ukraine. Press officer Rudolf Meyer, Secretary General, new as a candidate proposed by us, Horst Heitz. Public Relations Manager, Johannes Maroschik. Eastern Europe Coordinator, Ralf Schneider. And that's it. So if you agree for this team, and I think it was a very good team, so just give a sign. Positive, always, yes. Fine, then these persons are elected. And as I already mentioned, Rolf and I, and maybe Julia or also Rainer, we try to reactivate, and I don't know, maybe as you're with UK, Elliot, you have a better relation to France, but I spoke to many of our members. No one has contact with them. It was really a pity because they are still active.
But we try to
bring them back.
We will go there to Paris, and we will have the discussion. I think we will get them in our organization back, but it's a little difficult.
Hast du den silbernen Bullen dabei?
No, I don't.
Okay, in the evening. Okay, in the evening. Okay, we do it in the evening. Yeah. So now I think the most important thing for today, Rolf, to honor Rolf. Rolf was more than 35 years president and active for the European Taxpayers Movement. Without Rolf, there would not be a World Taxpayers Association existing. He was twice founder of the World Association. Once he founded the association, but the president died, and then there was a new election in Washington, 1988, and since that time he's active on the world level, and since '84 he was active on the European level, and that's why we want for sure not to lose Rolf. We want to keeping inside the organization, and our recommendation and our wish would be to elect Rolf as a honorary president lifetime. I think that's fine, and we will do it tonight in a small ceremony. We have a nice European bull that we give him the European bull for this work, because I think it must be for the next generation. It should be visible that there were some founders, some people, and it's long ago, knowing the importance of the European network. So if you agree, we recommend Rolf von Hohenau as honorary president lifetime of the European Taxpayers Movement, Taxpayers Association of Europe, and to award him with the European Bull. So fine. So the most important question, Rolf, do you accept?
I accept it, and I'm happy to work together with you in the next years. And it's a big honor for me to have this position.
So the next topic brings me, and then we maybe change the seats also, that you can give the reports of the national members. I think we should start with Ukraine, not by alphabetic order, but by network. I'm happy that, so you see, it's fascinating for me. You are in a country where the war takes place, and we have no problem with the web and the internet connection. I cannot guarantee it for Munich, by the way. It's very interesting still. So please give your report, Grigol. Start as number one for us. Happy to have you with us.
Thank you. Dear Mr. Honorable President of Taxpayers Association of Europe, Mr. Ralph Baron von Hohenau, Mr. President, the new president, my congratulations to you, dear Michael Egger. Dear colleagues, dear friends, I am sincerely pleased to welcome you all, and at the same time, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to speak at the annual general meeting of the General Assembly. It will be better if I will be with you now in Brussels, but I hope that I have a possibility in the nearest future to visit to Brussels and to see the new office of our office. Today, the 510th day of the war. Every day, Ukraine, thanks to the armed forces and international support, successfully restrains the aggression of the Russian Federation, which invaded Ukraine. Without the consolidation of the European Union, of the Western countries, and the rest of the civilized world is confronting the Russian occupier, the word democracy would have lost its meaning in the world. By spending huge resources, both human and financial, Ukraine is defending European values. But this process is not without obstacles within the country. In 2022, the real GDP in Ukraine decreased by 29%. Inflation increased by 26% in 2022, 30% during the period of martial law. Unemployment increased by 36%, and the number of labor migrants working abroad for the economies of the other countries reached 5 million people. In 2022, the poverty rate in Ukraine increased from 5.5% to 24%, pushing more than 7 million people below the poverty line. According to the World Bank's forecast, the poverty rate in Ukraine could rise to 55% by the end of 2023. Ukraine plans to spend more than 50% of our state budget on security and defense this year. This decision signals to society the catastrophic consequences that will follow due to the inefficiency of current tax policy. That is why the need to reform Ukraine's tax system has never been greater. We are all well aware that today Ukraine is going through difficult times, a period of change and several challenges. It is impossible to win a war without business functioning. Businesses should work, pay taxes, and provide the country with resources to continue its defense, not fight for their rights. We, as representatives of the business community, defend the rights and legitimate interests of taxpayers, members of the association in the economic, legal, social, and other spheres of their activities, because the taxpayers is the foundation of which the state's economy rests. Our position is clear. The fastest possible harmonization of the national tax legislation with the requirements of the European Union. I have been heading the association for more than 8 years, and all these years we have been trying to convince the authorities to adopt a new tax code. The current one has been in force since 2011. With the reduced number of taxes and their rates, develops according to the European model. In order not to take up too much of your time, I will give 2 examples of changes that we propose of the new tax code. The burden of the wage fund in Ukraine today is consolidated by several taxes amounting to 41.5%. Our proposal is to gradually reduce the total tax burden on the wage fund over the 3 years by combining the personal income tax and the unified social contribution into one tax. The personal income tax with a single rate of 25%. And then after some period to increase this. Today, the corporate income tax in Ukraine is 18%. Ukrainian legislation allows companies to evade this tax, and accordingly, only, attention please, only 10% of all companies registered in Ukraine pay this tax transparently, while 90% evade it. I leave the losses to the Ukrainian budget to your calculations. That is why we propose to replace the corporate income tax with the exit capital tax, which taxes with the withdrawal of the such types of funds as dividends, royalties, interest, financial assistance, etc., from the company's turnover. By reinvesting the above-mentioned types of financial resources in the development of the enterprise, the business entity is exempt from paying tax, but upon their withdrawal, it is obliged to pay tax in the amount established by law. As like Estonia, Lithuania, Georgia, Poland did, and in a year and a half, they received plus 1.5% of the economic growth. By the way, 2 weeks ago, Moldova also replaces corporate income tax with the tax of withdrawn capital. At this point, we need to ensure that the state focuses on the development of the country by supporting small and medium-sized businesses without shifting the focus to large corporations and monopolies, which will be helped to facilitate the return of Ukrainians who temporarily remain abroad. We, as an organization within our competencies, are constantly creating opportunities for an open dialogue between the government and business to address the most pressing problems in the tax system of Ukraine. In this dialogue, we repeatedly hear from the legislators about the adoption of the law by the end of the year. Wasting time in the current situation in an unacceptable mistake which we constantly point out to legislators. In our opinion, it is necessary to adopt law as soon as possible to improve the economic situation of the state, but taking into account the current conditions with the additions of a provision stating this, that they will come into force only after the end of war in country. After numerous precedents of failure of the newly created Economic Security Bureau, an agency to combat economic crime, we have reached the point where it can be rebooted. Now, there are opportunities for the real launch of the investigative and analytical agency aimed at preventing economic crimes in the Ukrainian economy, starting with transparent competitions for positions. For this purpose, our experts with the developed methodologies that set out in detail the risk-oriented approach of the body's activities and the prominent role of the analytical product. They also analyzed the financial and economic risks and developed the stages of implementation of an automated risk analysis and management system, including the updated structure of the Economic Security Bureau of Ukraine. Based on this result of a joint study conduct of the Taxpayers Association with the experts of the most prominent university in Ukraine, Taras Shevchenko National University of Kiev, in December 2022, January 2023, a monograph of the financial security of business entities in Ukraine was created. In it, we outlined the risks that pose the greatest obstacles of the proper functioning of Ukrainian business. Today, both civil society and the government see Ukraine's European integration as an integral part of its successful recovery. For all these years, we have been proposing to create an agency that would be the only one authorized to investigate economic crimes, and the rest of the law enforcement agencies would not interfere with the business activities. I cannot recall the international conference in May 2021, where the Mr. President Baron von Hohenhau and Secretary General spoke, and a very interesting report was made by the chair of the Committee of Budgetary Control of the European Parliament, member of the European Parliament, Mrs. Monica Hohlmeier. And this was 3 months before the competitions was the position of the Economic Security Bureau Director. We have suggested and continue to insist that Ukraine's law enforcement system, including the Economic Security Bureau activities, should be adopted to European standards, to move from the old reactive model to a proactive model that will be allow for active investigation of offenses, completely eliminate the factor of human interference, once and for all business of interference in its activities, and most importantly, solve the problem and destroy corruption in law enforcement institutions. Any joint action by the government and business requires mutual trust and partnership. Without this, any reforms are doomed to failure and will be ineffective. Dear colleagues, just we did the last time we spoke on November 2022, I argued to invest in Ukraine, a country that I'm confident will eventually become one of the world's major technology leaders. I believe that, and I'm sure that, and you have the partner as Ukrainian Taxpayers Association. I would like to take this opportunity to invite all of you to our regular reporting and elections 15 Congress at the end of November this year, which will be held on the day of the 25th anniversary of the Taxpayers Association of Ukraine. I wish the General Assembly a fruitful meeting, and I wish all of you success and achievements in your activities. Peace to your countries, to your families, dear friends, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Christian, I think you have an appointment later. I think you have to leave, or do you want to speak for Sweden?
Yes, please. I always want to speak.
Yeah. Welcome.
Try to stop me.
No.
Thank you so much, Michael. First of all, Rolf von der Hohen, thank you so much for your service so far. And Michael Horst, looking forward to continue working with you in your new functions. And thank you to everybody for letting me stay on the board. I'm most honored. I have a short report. Sweden, we have a new government since of last year. It's center-right, but it's not that focused on lowering taxes as we would hope that it would be. So we continue our work, especially regarding the waste for the taxpayers' money through our waste ombudsman, which I think you've heard of already. And now, since of this spring, our new global project called the Waste of Nations, which many of you so gracefully have contributed to. But those of you who haven't, please do visit the wasteofnations.com and submit your examples of waste in your countries, because we're going to have a competition on the worst examples of waste from around the world later on. Another thing worth mentioning in Sweden is that we're now having a tour in Sweden where we're looking into waste at the municipal level, where we have found many interesting facts. And I think that is a campaign that I hope to be able to share with you later on when we have come longer with this project. I think that is all from Sweden, actually. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. That brings me to Oliver Ginter from Austria. Tell us.
Hello, everybody. We in Austria have, as you know, high taxation and high inflation. And in our situation, we had a hard time in the last years to convince the taxpayer, the finance minister, to move on with the legislation. We are happy to inform you that we reached a solution on our long pending target to reduce the influence of inflation on taxation. As we call it, the cold progression was abolished after 20 or 25 years of fight against it. And so we are really happy that we have now a government that is moving at least in the right direction. Therefore, maybe it's a discussion point afterwards. We suggest that our finance minister, Brunner, we should discuss it if he would be a person we can award with the European Taxpayer Award, because he moved on that subject really a long way. We have fought for it for 25 years or so. And on the other hand, we have some other open subjects as well. The taxation in Austria is, like in Germany, rather high. And therefore, we have a day-to-day fight against the government to take care on the expenses. As we say, the expenses of today are the taxes of tomorrow. And therefore, we work hard on that. Maybe just one short information to Ukraine. We have a relief project with the Austrian Taxpayer Association, and we are taking Ukraine kids to hospital in Austria, and they normally move back to Ukraine. We had now more than 10 kids in the age between 1 and 10 years, and we organized their transportation, and they're coming to Austria and the treatment within the hospitals. And all of them went back to Ukraine, but this is our commitment to the Ukraine politics, and that we believe that Ukraine is fighting for freedom, and we want to support them. This is all from Austria now, yeah.
Elliot.
Great Britain.
Great Britain.
Please.
Well, sorry, I'm not John O'Connell, but I'll do my best to replicate him. So the UK has a very difficult political context at the moment. We've had
schießt nicht auf.
Na, da ist er oben.
Ich weiß nicht, ich kann nicht auf die große Bildschirm.
Das ist der Wurscht.
Na, warum sollst du den anderen auf dem Bildschirm machen?
So.
It's only.
I want you to have a big.
That's fine.
Du hast den Oliver noch angefangen, aber das ist wahrscheinlich über uns.
Was?
Der Oliver. Oliver, du bist von
She's speaking and
You speak, just speak. Das ist nur dein. Das ist nur dein.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay. Yeah.
Alles ist, das ist nur unsere Darstellung. Continue.
Yeah, so as I was saying, we have a difficult political context. We've had a ostensibly conservative government for 13 years, and yet we've ended up with the largest tax burden since the early 1950s, and a level of public spending that is projected to be the highest since the Second World War. There has been some encouraging tax simplification measures, but largely most people within the free market, low tax movement, whatever you want to call it, are looking at the last 13 years as a missed opportunity for the United Kingdom. On the flip side, we have a Labour Party, which is our centre-left party, which is talking a very good game on fiscal responsibility. It's abandoning almost all the significant spending pledges that it's made over the last couple of years, and is promising to operate on a very strict budget. But we hear absolutely nothing from the Labour Party about the possibility of positive tax reform. So it's a difficult political context, but it's one in which I think our organisation, Taxpayers Alliance, is actually thriving. I think we remain one of the most innovative and successful campaign groups in the United Kingdom. We've had 7 front pages alone this year in national and local newspapers. We still have media hits well into the hundreds, occasionally pushing 1,000 per month. We regularly produce hard-hitting, high-quality research, and we run campaigns that ensure we demonstrate the level of waste and excess at the local, national and international level. And that's captured by the fact that our 2 core campaigns at the moment are, one of which is based on a local council, which is currently running a 4-day-week trial where they've reduced working hours by 20% without reducing the pay of staff, and we're leading a campaign against that. We've been described by the main left-wing newspaper in the United Kingdom as the key group behind that campaign. The Minister for Local Government has written a letter to the council demanding that they stop, and has cited us saying that it's because of our work in this matter. And more recently, we've partly switched our focus to the funding that the United Kingdom provides to large multinational organisations, many of them based here in Brussels, of course, to look at whether or not the funding that we provide for very large multinational organisations provides value for money for UK taxpayers. So we will continue in that mould, continue fighting for positive changes to tax where possible, but otherwise ensuring that every penny of waste that goes on in government, whether local, central or international, is talked about across the media.
So thank you very much. For us, Taxpayers Alliance is for us always very fascinating because you work very successfully, and I think it's one of the most successful organizations also if it comes to media, and if your coverage is excellent, it's brilliant. And so that's also why we should learn from each other. And so we learned, by the way, last week we celebrated our Tax Freedom Day. That's not an invention idea of the German Taxpayers Association, so we copied it. Also the DAT clock from US, and so that's very important that we copy and cooperate. Thank you very much. This brings me to Julia. Join us, German Taxpayers Association.
Yeah. You all
Excellent.
know the German Association very well, so I give you three. First of all, it's the debriefings from Rainer. He's fighting for lower taxes in Berlin normally, but now he's actually in Croatia and makes holiday. So maybe he will join us. Last week we celebrated the German Taxpayers Freedom Day, and we launched a new online calculator for the tax burden, individual tax burden. And we compared it with a big and huge social media campaign. And we first, our rate of digitalization is not very high, but this worked very good. So we have lots of impressions in the social media accounts. And we work, the second point is we worked on a strategy to get in social web for a media strategy and social web to recruit members. And we tried a lot of new videos at TikTok. Maybe you work at TikTok as well, so you can give us some advice. And the third point is our big black book will be launched in autumn, and we still work on the focus team, and that will be the work of the public relation from the government. And we still have in Germany more than 500 social media accounts from the government, and over 2,000 people work there. And we will have a focus on the social media campaigns from the government, and which will be really information for the people, on which are only political advertising. And then we take a report which part of the budget will be waste of money. So that will be the focus in October. And that's not us. You know, I'm thinking about the point.
Maybe I can add what we try now in Germany. We do lots of telemarketing also. That's an idea starting also in Finland, and was also done in Sweden before. And then we cooperate with an agency, and we are allowed to phone everyone, private and corporates. And for sure, if you have leads, it's much better. And if we start like our Black Book or Tax Freedom Day, if people stay in touch with us and contact us, we have a converting rate around 9 to 15%. So out of these, let's say, hot addresses, we generate from 100, 9 to 15 members. But it's really, really good. For sure, if you have to use mass media and email, it's cheap, almost for free. Then it's not too important. But for us, it's a tool, it's a vehicle to get some more members, because we are member-based. Some others are based by donors. But the German association and our national associations, we are based by membership fees and say subscribe a membership. So it's a different approach, but it's working very successfully. And we work on new ways with new campaigns to get more leads, more addresses. That's really important, I think. And what Julia said, also our social media appearance, Rainer Holzhauer is very active. So we have a very good coverage. That's really important. And we try to get young people, not to lose the old people. We will always have a printed edition of our magazine, for sure. But we now started, we have app. Our magazine, you can order it as a member, and you can save the planet. Less printing, you can get it digital. This will save lots of money, and it's a very good idea. We just started. I don't know how many subscribers for the digital magazine we have now.
Nearly 10,000.
So 10,000 of our members out of 198,000 are already converted to digital members with the magazine. That's very good. And it makes it less expensive for us, but for sure we will keep our magazine. And what we want now, we think our membership and our communication completely new. we all use the web. We all use social media, but we are not focused on our members. Now we go backwards from the interest of the member with our app, and we redesign our app back even to the membership administration system. So one click for the member to make life easier as a member. If you want things now, if we have a lot of fine products, information, it takes you lots of clicks, lots of work to get it. And we want to simplify life of the members to make everything easier. So we redesign everything. So we try to digitalize the membership and the German taxpayers and the National Taxpayers Associations. That's a big challenge for us. It will not be cheap, but in the long run, it makes us more competitive with other organizations. I think that's also very interesting what we try. Okay, we have some guests also. I see our friend Paulo from Portugal. We have been in Portugal in Porto some weeks ago. Tell us something about your movement and what you're going to do. No, we don't hear you. You have to unmute yourself.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here, to receiving me here in this federation. Paying carefully lots of attention for what you're doing in your countries. We are just setting up our association in the process, administrative issues like registering the name and statutory, all these kind of compliance and laws. So we are planning to have the association ready by September. Ready to receive members. We gladly have had the help from you and Christian from Sweden, and so we got some sort of statutes that comply with the Portuguese legislation, but getting some inspiration from the Bavarian and Swedish, so we are ready to rock by then, and hope to give you some more news and. Hope to be received in your federation as a new member as soon as we set up this Portuguese branch, if you'd say so. I was more than happy to be part of this group. We are planning to have as members, so not donors. So we need to have some as much as individuals as companies. Most of the bulk of the finance will come from companies. We have already secured some nice contributions by the end of the year, and we plan to, let's say, go public by, say, January, February next year in terms of mass media, public relations. We are ready. We have some protocols with some forces of political and social to be called upon when there is some text to be created or amended to be part of the process in the way that we all want to be and be visible to the politicians and the government officials, doing some supports to our members in terms of tax filing purposes and some sort of optimization, or even helping them with this jungle of fiscal legislations. And that's it. And trying to be the representative of the taxpayers, which are, at least in Portugal, about 8 million. We are 10, probably the children don't pay taxes yet. And we want to have as a target for next year about, let's say, 1,000 members, individual members, by the end of 2024. I think it's achievable, not being too much optimist, but with lower fees. But we want to increase and get as much representation as we can to be we say, respected by, as I said, by the government officials, politicians, and tax legislators in a way. And if I may, I would, sorry?
If you invite us, we will be there for you.
And if you allow me, I will be bothering you once in a while to ask some more informations and clues how to run successfully an organization like this one. So thank you again very much, and I'll keep you posted what will be happening in Portugal, and hopefully to get ready soon to join your organization. Let's say by the end of the year. Thank you very much.
I have sent to you the paper of the World Taxpayers Association. How to start, and it's just a sample. It's not a guideline how you should do it, just to get some insights. Although if you look how UK Taxpayers Alliance was starting from zero and basically based by internet and all the campaigning, what saves your money, it could be very interesting. And if you invite us, if we can plan, for sure we will come to Portugal anywhere and to support you with the press conference. And that's our network. Welcome.
We are there.
We will be there, and we cannot give you money, but we can give you our brain, all our knowledge, know-how transfer. I think that's even a higher value. And don't make mistakes we made. That's what we can tell you. What you should, from our perspective, not do. But you feel free to make your own experience. You're welcome in our taxpayers family. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's more valuable. Yeah.
Yes, for sure. That brings us to our next friend and guest, Thomas. So from Poland, we will all love Poland. Your clear position and then some matters when it comes to European politics. So tell us something about your movement and what you're planning, please.
Okay. We're taking a little different approach because we already have a quite large, substantial institution. Warsaw Enterprise Institute is the largest pro-market association in Poland, and we do have and we are supported by private companies only, and we don't take public money. So for the last 10 years, we are active. And we lost one company actually that they went out of the business because of the government regulations. But mainly this is what we do. We pretty much look into environment for small and medium companies, and we support them regardless whether they're foreign, Polish, or wherever they come from, as long as they support small and medium companies environment. And so we were looking, and thank you for all the help and the know-how we get from you, from Taxpayers Association. We've been also traveling and meeting American for Taxpayers Reform. We talked to our colleagues in Sweden and Finland, so we probably get already a lot of know-how. And we'll take a little different approach. In Poland, we have very strange labor law, which is for unions, that anybody who is representing the same employer's interest could create union. So we want to create labor union for taxpayers, and we get already opinion from lawyers that is possible. They will put us in completely different shoes, because this will momentarily, if we get a substantial number of consignees, as a partner to negotiate with the government, if it works. But we'll try to start kosher way. We will be in October publishing Black Book. It's almost ready. We get a very good author, and he's fantastic because he's been picking up best cases from all over the country, not just Warsaw, from small towns from all over the country, working also with associations or local organizations. So we want to get them also on board and local media. So we want to launch that in October. Then we want to launch a campaign. We'll pick one issue, one subject, one law, tax law, that we'll try to change and appeal to Parliament So we will start nationwide campaign, and then from on, then we'll go to next year probably to create this labor union for taxpayers. So far we talked to few companies, and we get promise of supporting us, getting extra finances. So I think this would that should work, and we are very optimistic. Poland is probably the best country to do it because we are proudly holding the prize of being the last before the one before the last on the taxpayers competitive index, with one of the worst tax system. Taxes in Poland are not high, but awfully complicated. So people, even when they pay, they want to pay, they don't know how sometimes. So I think we have election in October. We would like to launch the Black Book just before election to steer a little emotions and the discussions around. So again, thank you so much for inviting me, and we're looking forward to be in future working with you.
And that's really interesting, because your neighbors in Estonia, we were working as a taxpayers association to make the tax system very simple tax system.
Yeah.
So we have a neighbor who is very uncomplicated, much more than the other Western
we
countries.
love Estonian taxes.
Yes, it was made by the Taxpayers Association together with Richard Feder. We created this tax system, and we know that from Finland and from all the other countries, companies are going there because they have such a easy tax system. I was founding the Taxpayers Association in Krakow, but we have to.
Yes, we were in touch with them,
and we have to work together to cooperate. We make a cooperation. If you need our help, tell it to us.
Okay, we
come there. We come there. We come there.
We love that.
Speak there. We help you. You can come to Munich or to Berlin to discuss.
We had a meeting. You know, my colleagues went to a meeting in Ostrava. I think.
Yeah.
You had a.
We are very happy to work together.
That would be great.
We need the cooperation.
And Estonia, it's a very good example. We really admire what they did. And
it was made by our Taxpayers Association of Europe together with Richard Feder from the Ohio University. We developed this system.
Fantastic.
I think it's not only necessary to found a new association. So if you want, we can cooperate. In some countries, we have no existing taxpayers movements. And in these countries, we cooperate. If you want, if it's helpful for you, sure you can found a new association too. Maybe it's I don't know if it's necessary. You decide. You have to decide.
Okay, for starters, we use our vehicle, which is Warsaw. It's well known in Poland. There were 1 million viewers on social media. So it will be easier to people will know what we are and how to recognize it.
Yeah, it gives you some more power. If you cooperate, maybe it would be very, very nice. I think it's a very good idea.
We like everything which is bringing us forward as a taxpayers movement in Europe.
And
membership, cooperation, new ideas. It's very important to learn from each other. Michael told it before, what we were learning from Great Britain. And so every country can learn something of the other countries. We learned something we developed in Estonia, but they developed it more and more. And so we can learn from them now how to make things. And so that's important.
Sorry, we are not able that our politicians learn from Slovakia or Estonia with a flat tax system, or reinvested profits are tax-free. That's very good for startups. We talk about subsidies in Germany now. We gave 10 billion to a chip producer, what is really stupid, really stupid, because system relevant and it's really a really crazy approach. And we could learn much more from Estonia, and that's why we have to communicate these things. And Julia just told me, if you publish the Black Book, and if an English version of a summary, it could be very interesting, because we have Christian, who is a Waste of Nations. We have our a digital platform for waste, European-wide, worldwide.
We met in
we have the German version. We have some cases from Great Britain, UK. So we are ready to make a kind of European black book sooner or later. What would be very, very nice, maybe, and that's really good. If you need assistance, just contact us. We are ready and happy to assist you.
End of September, we could send you the concise English version of it, what's going to be, and then in October we publish it.
Excellent idea. Thank you very much. And we welcome also Laura Appasova. You audited, we gave already your report because we didn't see you. Maybe you want to tell us some sentences from the north. She was fleeing to Germany from face of the war in Ukraine. We are happy to see you, that you could shape. Tell us something, Laura. You have to unmute yourself if you want to tell something. It's working? Not yet. Yeah, now.
Yes. I'm happy to be here today, and I'm happy, first of all, to say my congratulations to both of you, first of all. To Rolf and to Michael, I'm impressed, and I'm sure that it's the best future is still.
No, that's so fun.
In the near coming years, it's so unbelievable, and I think it's
it's working now, Laura. Ah, she lost. So it's so funny. It's a proof of the example, Grigol. If you come from Ukraine to us digitally, it's working with no problem. And our friend of colleague and then north of Germany, we cannot even speak. Yeah? So you see, so we can learn how to provide service and how to digitalize. Thank you. So we wait for Laura if she's back. It's so funny, but it's the truth. So that's Germany, huh? Fine. Okay.
It's the biggest problem here. But I'm still waiting for optic here. But it's okay. I'm happy to know about this plans, changes, and futures for European Taxpayers Association, and I think that it's really how to say it. It's lots of energy in these sentences, in this plan, and I wish all of us. To succeed everything and to get more, to find new solutions to make taxpayers movement visible in Europe. Like Inga Friedrich always says that Ukraine should be visible in Europe. Ukraine is now visible in Europe, thoroughly in this case, in case of war, but Taxpayers Association, Taxpayers movement should be visible also in Europe, in Ukraine, and in each country which represented here in Taxpayers Association with Europe. So I wish all of you good luck and enjoy this new opportunity, let's say. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Greetings to the most northern part of Germany without internet connection. Thank you very much. This brings us to topic 7, discussion of targets for the second half of 2023. Horst, kannst du drüben dich anlinken? Okay. So we have some ideas, and also next year. By the way, Elliot, it's not interesting maybe for you. We have election on the European level, and that's Horst, please tell us something what we plan or what you.
So for the end of the year, we will have together with SME Connect a large conference about SMEs, and it's planned on the 29th of November. But we have to set up now if the finance is fitting, because we will do this in the Bibliothek survey. So it will be one of the largest events with 100 SMEs, where also be a prize handover, where the pairs are invited to be in the committee, represented by the president, by Michael Jäger. And then we want to start from January to March a campaign, what taxpayers expect from politicians for the next period of the parliament. So we want to use this opportunity to address directly and get in contact with MEPs and to say what we want and what we're thinking they should have on their agenda. You have to see that they have still 200 regulations in the pipeline, and they hope to fix it until March. I don't think they will manage everything, but then already now you can feel that they are really focused on the elections. 60% of the MEPs will not come back, so only 40% will stay. We will have also a huge, that means we should not only address this campaign to MEPs who are in the parliament, we should also go to the member states, and we need your help to identify the right persons. We have to connect, to support, to talk in your home countries who will come to the European Parliament, and we will have a shift from the left in the parliament to the right. So if this will stay the polls like now, the Greens will lose up to 10%. Also, the Socialists will lose up to 10%. The right wings will gain up to 15%. And the Conservatives and the EPP will stay stable and will have slightly gains. So it will be really a shift to the right. And this will have a huge impact on the stability, because now we have all this green transition and they will stop it. This is clear, they will stop it. And also we will have from one right-wing commissioner, we will have 3 right-wing commissioners. So it will also have a huge impact. If von der Leyen will stay, we will see. Perhaps she will go to NATO. I don't know if she becomes NATO Secretary General. It's a rumor.
No, please, no.
Well, this rumor is going, but she's adapted.
The president of the NATO, he told that he will continue.
Yeah, but only 1 year. So after the elections, he wants to step back, and it seems so like it's that von der Leyen step in. So I don't know. Should we be happy in Europe or should we cry for the NATO?
Putin would be happy.
Yeah, let this guy also a chance.
Okay.
So no chance. I have to say, this would be really the largest support. Yeah, okay. But then if we take elections, we will have here 4 months break, because then there will be from April, the hardcore. In July, they will come together for the committees and to choose who will do what. And in September, the parliament will be also again functional, start to work. I have to say, this is always a huge transition, also a chance. And we should have then our first large conference or event where we can present the Taxpayers Association to the new MEPs as one of the relevant players. So I would say really we have now to use this talk also to increase social media. We have now to learn how better to use Twitter. We have to know to learn to use better LinkedIn. This is all part of the communication here. There we are lacking. But we need also content from you. We need input from you, and also ideas, because this office here in Brussels is in fact we managing this. We are organizer, we are campaigners, but we are not providing the content. We can sometimes helping you if you have questions that we provide research the information and so on. But the ideas how to campaign, what's coming out, the content must coming from you. It cannot coming only from the president. It must be coming from the member states also.
I think that's a very, very important message. Whatever we have, we also tried it on a world level. If you have successful campaigns, if we have important information valuable for all others, just send it to us and we can upload it, and I think it's important.
We can also bring Europe to the member states.
And we try, what we plan, Horst and I together, and also with Ralf Schneider, our journalist president here, we want to reanimate a newsletter on the European level with important topics. You should focus, because it's even if it comes to taxation, it's not only in the tax suit where you find all the tax changes, proposed new taxes. It's hidden in different commissions. And that's why we have really to look and to inform you that you can fight it nationally, also even if you're not a member in UK, in Great Britain. It's important for you because not to agree on certain topics. And I think that's a very, very important thing. And I think what we will do next year with the milestones, what we always have within our Taxpayers magazine, maybe on the German level, what our key demands are to European parliamentarians. And sometimes in US, they sign a check. You can only answer yes or no. And that's, I think, a very smart approach, but I'm not sure if every country, every member association is willing to do it. And if you say no, and you have more no's, in the interest of taxpayers, they will fight you. And I remember when I was young, an envelope, a campaign, a mailing campaign kills them before they kill us. That was by the National Taxpayers Union. They were fighting some politicians because they were afraid if they would be elected not to act in the interest of taxpayers. We are far away from that, but it's important maybe these milestones to force politicians to say, and then later on we can say, listen, you promised to do this or that. I think that's a very, very
I think if I can add something, it will be also complicated because the pragmatic approach was always in Brussels will not continue like this. So we will have populism is rising anyway, but I have to say, if you work together with a right wing or with a left wing, the problem is that these political groups want not to interact with each other. So we have to be smart how to interact, to set us up that everybody wants and have to work with us. So we want not to be political related to any group because we are neutral. We have our interests. We want to promote it to the right wings, we like to the left wings. But we want also to make clear that we're not going to this game. If you work with them, you cannot work with us. So, but this is only possible if we are so powerful that they say they cannot neglect us. So this is also how we promote us. And I think this problem has all associations, because if you have Meloni as an example, who is very, I say, constructive with the European Union and also with the NATO and also with the Ukrainians, and also very good for Italians taxpayers, then you have the problems with the German CDU-CSU, who wants to avoid in any case to work with them together. Even the feedback is very positive. Even Ferber says everything what Meloni was coming up was constructive and she was a good worker. Our media would not accept this. Weber, who is the EPP group leader, was crucified by our media press because he tried only to come to a working level. And I have to say, this makes it complicated because Meloni is not AfD. And how to do this and how to deal this will be difficult. At the same time, the Greens have no interest to work with us at the moment. We were several times in contact with them. They say, what we can gain with you. They have a clear agenda. They have the clear stakeholder partners. And they say, if they interact with business association or with the taxpayers, what we can gain. We will be always under pressure from your side. We have always to justify us. And their dialogue is better if we are in confrontation than in a dialogue. So we have to be clear that not all groups see a benefit out of us to interact with us.
That's, I think, a very important message. So like in Germany, politicians love us or hate us, but most fear us. So it's also a good advice if you're strong enough. So we have to think about how to use this knowledge now, what we can do.
But they like also confrontation. It's a win-win situation.
Yes,
because you can say we are against and we are against. It's better than we are both in favor. You cannot sell it.
Okay. Then we close topic 7 and we come to top 8, voting on the participation of new member candidates in the General Assembly and then planning of activities 23-24. We were discussing it already. Our proposal would be, there was no application for membership, but provisional, I would love to say, if Portugal will send the statutes, Paolo, and that we prove it, you copy ours, it should be fine. You don't have to be non-profit, but our aim is we are neutral, politically neutral, if we're conservative, libertarian, market-oriented. So our proposal would to give a positive votum that you can become member already today, then we can act. So we don't have to send it to the other association. So feel free anytime to send it to us, and you can become an official member of the Taxpayers family. And as soon as I think if you apply, we can do it provisional already. Is someone against it? No. So you're a future candidate as a member, Paolo, and just let us know what we can do and any assistance we could provide for you. We tried to give it to you. And the second for Thomas, this cooperation, if you want, you don't have to become a member yet. You don't have to become a member. If you apply, so listen, we want to have a deeper cooperation with the taxpayers movement. Feel free, just send us an email. And I think we can decide already yet if you say yes, you want to cooperate with us. If you're able to say it today, we can vote for it, because I think it's also important that we have a strong link and strong cooperation with Poland.
But I'm thinking what could be a thing like, I see this with Slovakia. They want also to build up a taxpayers association. They want also to involve existing organizations like your institute. Perhaps you could make like that they are associated until they will found their own taxpayer association.
Yes, for sure.
As that your institute is associated with the European taxpayer movement, has no voting rights, but there's also no membership in this, but is close and invited to all these activities until you would be capable to be the taxpayer.
What we would like to do in October with publishing this black book, we'd like to make a conference in Warsaw. You'll be obviously invited, and this could be like our access. The moment that.
And I would say today we decide that we cooperate with your organization, and then we see what is going along. So it's not too complicated.
Yes,
we have a cooperation. We work together. You know that you can come everywhere, to Munich, to Berlin, to London, or anywhere to have some help or to help us.
Advice.
Perhaps to give us some advice what we are doing, and we make a cooperation, and then we see how it's going afterwards.
We will keep you updated about this conference in October.
Yes.
In Warsaw, we also have our own premises. We have a pub. We came up with just as the interest to some. We were looking for a facility for independent pro-market organizations. We had quite few of them, but they didn't have a place to meet. So we came up with the idea we created a pub where they can meet for free, and the pub is financed. It's now it's in a former central communist building, and it's actually making money, and that's how we finance. So we'll make this vanity will make Vicinity will make a conference.
So is anyone against cooperation with Warsaw and the Prayer Institute? I think nobody is anyone against it. Not so. There's no risk. There's no financially obligation, nothing, but it's just to become strong in our network. So welcome to cooperate. So the next topic would be what is already, I think, done, explained by Horst, determination of the next days of activities and projects for 2023, 2024. It's referring to top 7, what we already discussed. There will be an event in November. We plan something for next year. And I think that's a good program. And if you have any ideas, just inform us. If you have bigger events where we want to invite our European or international colleagues, let us know. If it fits to the schedule, for sure, we come. We have our own event, an internal event, for instance, for Bavaria. We cannot have Rolf and I and all the others. We have to be there. If you have our own General Assembly, we could not come, but let us know in advance and everything is fine. So top 10 other topics, I give back the floor to Oliver. I think we already decided. You mentioned what Brunner as a finance minister did to cut down taxes, tax pressure. I think we all agreed.
I think we should give him the European
Award. Okay, here's a proposal.
I propose it.
So Rolf proposes that we award as a good example to all of us how to this cold progression by inflation. So if you get a higher salary, Elliot, and you have like a linear progressive tariff, you pay more and more taxes. You get some compensation for inflation, but it's killed by the tax pressure, and so they did an opposite way, and even through COVID, it's a very interesting way and an example how taxes could be cut. So it's fine, Oliver, for you.
Yes, I think we waited for 20 years now, and now it's a good time to give a prize to Austria. We are normally not on the front line of low taxation, but this was a big step forward, and hopefully it's a good example for the rest of Europe to lower the taxes and try to get the inflation out of the taxation.
It's not the first prize for Austria.
Yes, 2004.
Schüssel, Wolfgang Schüssel received one out of the Chancellor in 2004. So
okay,
we have to look when and where. But we will see. We will discuss it. So I think we can take the decision.
The last position is our institute. We had since a long time an institute which was working at the beginning, and then it was not working, and then we had problems because it was situated in Brussels and in Luxembourg and anywhere. Now we founded a new institute in Munich on the same basic as the old one was. But we want to run the institute, not only to have an institute, but also to run it. We have a cooperation together with the University for Applied Science in Munich. They are very happy to work together with the Taxpayers Association. They are really active and excited to do this work. We can make dissertations for people. We can give them some researches about problems of taxpayers, and we have a high level of intelligence there in the university and also in our institute of the German Taxpayers Association. So we can work together also with different professors like Professor Sinn or people like that. They will join us. So I think we have not to decide because we did it already, but we have to inform you. We have to inform you that also our scientific work it will be stand on another basic in the future.
I think that's a very, very good chance for all of us, because if you see in Brussels these mushroom and green left-wing organizations and fair tax, however they are named, Commission gives some money and they do research work with results what the Commission wants. Now we even do not force a university to make a research in our direction, because we know because it's a tax and market-oriented study. And so for that reason, it's European Institute for Public Finance can be used by all of you.
Yes.
And we try to find this is a non-profit organization that could be very interesting. It gives us a stamp of a neutral further research institute. So we start with our own institute. I think it's a very good idea. And I think that's one of the key keys for success for us. And Ralf is just leaving, but I was just mention one important thing. What is not in my summary yet. We have some further information. Until today, there is no legal definition what is waste of public funds. We did a research already. We were looking, and his now wife. We can congratulate. He married last week, and Christina. She's doing her doctorate in Timișoara, and so in Romania, on this topic. So she will define. She's working on a doctorate. Then we can define what is waste. If it comes to real estate, if you have 50% increase of costs, is it waste or not? So
or if you build a bridge for roads and you don't build the road and the bridge is there, we tell that it's standing there, but in the court they say there's no waste because the bridge is there. You know,
the bridge costs a certain amount, and that's what we start now. It's a very good opportunity for us. And
we have a tunnel in Poland that has been built for a deer, so they could go under the train.
Yes, we have it also.
And but deer never go there. Yes, but they didn't build a bridge for people, so people go through, but they have to.
We had it for mouses who are going over the autobahn
highway,
but over the highway, but never a mouse was going over the highway.
It's very funny cases. I want also to thank Julia. We at our last World Taxpayers meeting in Prague. She brought some samples. Maybe we send it. I said, remember me a PDF file. It was translated. Some cases, very funny cases of waste of public funds. Christian used it on the waste of nations. And what we did, an analysis of next generation, what was spent. And that's really stupid.
And we call it the government waste like pornography. Once you see it, you know.
Yes, so we will send it to you. If you have any other information, just have a look to our friends participating digitally. Nothing. Christian, we mentioned already waste of nations. We will send the link, by the way, with minutes that everybody can have a look. Fine, and then we can come to an end. It's 4:45. Then we close this General Assembly. Fine, the work is done. The party is waiting for us in Brussels, and you know that's not true. We have still to continue a little bit to work, but I hope that we met soon, Vigo. And
thank you.
Thank you. Whenever it was possible. By the way, Horst and I, we planned in May to go, but it's not easy with people. But what I can tell you, recovery program, this can't be said like others. The recovery program of Ukraine should be a topic, how to support Ukraine. It will be very important to all of us, and be sure that we try to contribute, okay?
If I could
thank you very much. Thank you.
In September, 12th, 13th of September, Association of Small and Medium Companies in Poland and Warsaw Enterprises will organize in Kiev conference together with Vice Prime Minister from Ukraine and Polish Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We also opened like preliminary offices just last week in Lviv, Lutsk, and Vinica, just to collect information about Ukrainian companies that would like to cooperate in rebuilding. It's just in Western Ukraine. And so we could, if you'd be interested in the conference in September in Kiev, I would love to invite, and it will be a good occasion to do something around it.
Okay, thank you very much for information.
Sure.
I try. If you send me your contact, I call you and we spoke about it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You sent? In presence or digital conference?
In presence, yeah, we'll go there. Yeah.
And when? Do you know the date?
September, 12, 13 September.
Okay.
Also the conference this week.
Oh, this week we have in Warsaw on.
I will come.
Oh, great. Okay, on Saturday. Yeah.
So, those who are not afraid and free by schedule,
Yeah.
it would be easy for us to fly, by the way, to Ukraine. Igor, can you organize it so we are able to fly? No. Only once. You can test it.
It's just 9 hours by car.
Yeah, no, yeah. From Munich, it's a little, maybe a little bit longer. And for you, it's 9 hours for us, a little longer. But we have to think about it first, how to manage it. Because we have the associations day, I don't know if it's correct, Horst, Tag der Verbände. I think it's the 12th in Munich even.
Yeah.
Maybe we are supposed to speak there and then we have a look. But send us the schedule so we can have a look.
Yeah, but you can fly to Warsaw and.
Yeah, but the 12th will be an event in Munich, a big event, German event.
Okay, we'll send you all details on the conference.
And Horst, I have some email addresses. Let's have a look that we all link. Also, Elliot, everyone is linked. I send a summary that you know it and you can spread it to all your colleagues. Yeah, we have to send it to you that we use it, and I think it's a good information.
We also started a newsletter, Rebuild Together, about Ukraine.
Important.
And we do it in Polish, mainly for Polish companies, but we also do like an outline in English every month, so we can send you this.
Fine. Fine. Excellent. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Peace
Have
and
a nice evening.
Gregor. Peace and low taxes. Okay.
Thank you.
Peace and low taxes.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Have a great evening and a lovely summer.
Enjoy.
At the parliament now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.